next presenter is next person going to present is Meher Afroz Fiha. Meher Afroz Fiha is going to present on fictionalized facts in digital fortress, a medium for exposing concealed truths. Meher Afroz Fiha, please. Your time starts now.
For giving me the platform. Let me first share my screen. Good morning, everyone. I'm Meher Afroz Fiha from Jahangirnagar University. Today, the title of my paper is Fictionalized Facts in Digital Fortress, a medium for exposing concealed truths. So I have divided my paper into 5 chapters, and the first chapter is the introduction, and the introduction is divided into 6 subsections. But due to time constraint, I'll only discuss 2 of them, that is the scenario and the rationale. So moving on to the scenario. This paper critically studies Dan Brown's Digital Fortress to find out the authenticity of the information used in the novel and the ambiguity of truths in it, with a view to showing how the facts and fictions are intermingled in the novel and how hyperreality operates in the society. It also analyzes few instances to understand how the facts brought out by media are often simulated and how media creates a truth which doesn't have any originality. This paper also analyzes the recent disclosures about the NSA and presents critical analysis of Snowden's claims and Brown's claims. Now moving on to the rationale. Dan Brown's Digital Fortress is about government intrusion into private lives of people, which is operated by the NSA. Despite being a work of fiction, it deals with facts, as the author claims. But there are other possible interpretations of his claim. It is therefore important to reread the representation of truth in the novel to understand if the author really intended to disclose hidden facts through fiction or if the whole thing is a large simulation. Now moving on to the second chapter. The second chapter outlines the theoretical framework, that is the precession of simulacra. In postmodern theory, the term simulacra is associated with Joe Baudrillard, who coined the phrase precession of simulacra, a situation in which simulations increasingly take precedence over the realities they are simulating. Baudrillard proposes 4 stages of simulacra. The first stage is a faithful image or copy, where the sign represents a basic reality. It is a reflection of a profound reality. The second stage for the sign is that it misrepresents or distorts the reality behind it. This is the perversion of reality, where the sign is believed to be an unfaithful copy. The third stage masks the absence of a profound reality. As Peter Berry suggests, the third stage for the sign is when the sign disguises the fact that there is no corresponding reality underneath. The fourth stage is pure simulation, in which the sign bears no relation to any reality at all. Now the third chapter is entitled Fictionalized Facts and Imaginary Elements in Digital Fortress. This is basically a discourse analysis. So this chapter examines extracts from Digital Fortress to demonstrate and understand how the facts are fictionalized in the novel and how the imaginary elements are presented in a convincing way to create confusion in readers' minds. So first one is the fictional secret supercomputer. Translator, a code-breaking supercomputer, is NSA's secret machine for code breaking. The story of the novel revolves around this fictional supercomputer, and the readers are made to believe in it. But in reality, no such machine exists, as we can know from the recent leaks of Edward Snowden, the whistleblower. And then the imaginary principle. Every code is breakable, the Burgowski principle. It is an imaginary principle for code breaking. And the third one is NSA's imaginary clash with EFF. EFF, or Electronics Frontier Foundation, is a worldwide coalition of computer users who has founded a powerful civil liberties coalition aimed at supporting free speech online. In Digital Fortress, Brown creates an imaginary situation where EFF is in conflict with NSA. The next one is false scientific theory. Brown talks about a hypothetical cryptography scenario in which a safe builder wrote blueprints from an unbreakable safe. This is called the Beagleman safe. It is an imaginary situation or a false scientific theory which is made up by Brown himself. And then the last one is fictionalizing server name. ARA, or American Remailers Anonymous, is a fictional anonymous server which is mentioned repeatedly in the novel. Anonymous servers are usually used to hide one's virtual identity. There are some remailing servers available on the internet, but this specific server is not available. Now moving on to the next chapter, that is the simulation and ambiguity of truth. So the first section is simulation and media propaganda. In the present world, the role of media in contemporary politics is often questioned. According to Noam Chomsky, the prevailing conception of democracy is that the public must be barred from managing of their own affairs, and the means of information must be kept narrowly and rigidly controlled. To keep the means of information controlled, government often takes help of the media. So the examples are Creel Commission, Mohawk Valley Formula, Vietnam War, Gulf War, etc. So we see massive media propaganda in these cases. The next one is Brown's claims fact in fiction. During an interview on his debut novel Digital Fortress, Dan Brown talks about a specific event which inspired him to write the novel. In the spring of '95, two US Secret Service showed up on the campus of Phillips Exeter and detained one of our fellow students, claiming he was a threat to national security. As it turned out, the kid had been on the internet the night before, having a light-hearted political debate via email with one of his friends, and had made the comment that he was so mad at the current political situation, he was ready to kill President Clinton. So when Brown tried to figure out how the Secret Service knew what these kids were saying in their email, he came to know about the NSA. I found out there is an intelligence agency as large as the CIA that only about 2% of Americans knows exist. It is called the National Security Agency or NSA, and it is home to the country's eavesdroppers. The agency functions like an enormous vacuum cleaner, sucking in intelligence data from around the globe and processing it for subversive material. According to Brown, the US government knows far more about the citizens than they could ever imagine. Now moving on to the next section, that is Snowden's claims and analysis. Edward Snowden is an American computer professional, former CIA employee, and former contractor for the United States government who copied and leaked classified information from the NSA in 2013 without any authorization. The leaked documents revealed the NSA's secret surveillance programs, which shocked the whole world. So the online news portal Mashable listed 10 biggest revelations from Edward Snowden's leaks. We'll now discuss them. First one is collecting civilians' phone records. Verizon and other telecom providers in America had been providing the NSA with all of their customers' phone records. Existence of PRISM. According to the reports, PRISM is a program by the NSA to directly access the servers of US tech giants like Google, Yahoo, etc. The next one is tapping fiber optic cables. GCHQ, the British spy agency, which works closely with the NSA, taps fiber optic cables all over the world, spying on foreign governments. Snowden's documents have revealed that the NSA has spied on numerous world leaders and foreign governments, tapping people's internet activities. Tapping people's internet activities is another function of the NSA. It uses a tool to search nearly everything a user does on the internet. Installing backdoors. To evade widely used web encryption technologies, the NSA has developed a series of techniques and tricks. It forces companies to install backdoors. Hacking computers worldwide. The NSA indulges in hacking computers worldwide with an elite hacker team codenamed Tailored Access Operations or TAO. It unlawfully hacks into computers and infects them with malware. Cracking tech giants' data center links. The NSA can crack the tech giants' data center links. It can infiltrate links connecting Yahoo and Google data centers. Intercepting text messages. Collecting it all is the unofficial motto of NSA. So it actually intercepts millions of text messages every day worldwide. The last one is intercepting phone calls. The NSA intercepts and stores all the phone calls made in the Bahamas, Afghanistan, Mexico, Kenya, and Philippines. Next one is Snowden's claims revisited.
You have two more minutes to go. Okay.
3 more.
Just
Okay,
finishing
so
it.
thank you. Snowden's claims are revisited by a journalist called Ryan Gallagher. He revisited Snowden's claims and found few authenticity issues. So we are going to discuss them in short. The first claim is the NSA has direct access to tech company servers, but the truth is it can only request the companies to hand over some specific data about particular overseas groups or individuals under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. The second claim is that the NSA targets the communications of everyone. But the truth is there is no evidence so far to suggest that it has the technical capability required to collect the data of all international domestic communications. So Brown's claims, a simulation. In today's world, one cannot believe anything readily. There are often misrepresentations and representations of truth. So Digital Fortress was first published in 1998. Its revelations about the NSA shocked the contemporary readers and it was long before Edward Snowden came out as a whistleblower. Though Brown claimed that he took help from two ex-cryptographers of the NSA while writing the novel, most of the information here is made up and Brown presented them quite convincingly. So now the question is, does Brown really disclose the confidential or the whole thing is a large simulation? Is it the faithful representation of reality or the perversion of reality? So the questions are explored in the following section. The first one is Brown's claims as faithful representation of reality. That is the first stage of simulacra. In the beginning of the novel, Brown says, "A quiet thank you to the two faceless ex-NSA cryptographers who made invaluable contributions by anonymous emailers. It is important to note that all of Brown's other novels have author's note in the beginning, saying that all the claims, all the facts used in the novels are true. And after the publication of Digital Fortress, Brown also claims in an interview that the gadgets in the novel are all true, they all exist in real life. So there are enough reasons for the readers to believe in what they read. This can be considered at the first stage of simulacra or the faithful representation of reality, where the sign represents the basic reality. And the next one is Brown's claims as perversion of reality. Being a fiction, Digital Fortress has lots of fictional elements. The presence of fictionalized facts make the readers aware of its pervasive influence. In the novel, the NSA is presented as an evil organization, but in reality, this organization has less evil purpose. Brown himself says in the interview, "It is important, however, that we don't react with too much paranoia. Agencies like the NSA are far more interested in terrorists than in the average citizen, and most of us have nothing to worry about." Though this statement of him contradicts his earlier statements, it is quite clear that the information given in the novel is not an unquestionable truth. So some readers can also take it as the second stage of simulacra, which is the perversion of reality, for it misrepresents and distorts the reality behind it. So now we are moving on to the conclusion of my paper. The present paper shows in its study of the novel Digital Fortress that truth is often ambiguous and a single fact can have several interpretations. Brown's claims to disclose hidden facts about the NSA is not an unquestionable truth and can be interpreted differently as it is heavily burdened with imaginary elements. Being intermingled with fiction, the facts have lost their credibility in some places. And despite all of that, the information he disclosed is significant, for it changes the way people perceive their daily lives. Also, most of the facts the author mentioned in the novel are quite similar to the whistleblower Snowden's revelations. So it is safe, I think, to say that though ambiguous by nature, concealed truths are exposed through the novel Digital Fortress. So this brings us to the end of our presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
If you have any questions,
for,
feel free to ask.
okay, thank you very much for your wonderful
Thank you, sir.
presentation. And the name that was coming repeatedly, Snowden and Digital Fortress. You have talked about the faithful representation of reality, perversion of reality, and the multiple version of a single
Yes.
fact, the interpretation of the single information in different ways by people, which is also linked to media framing as well. The way media frames reality or the stories, the same way people get that. Okay, and filtration is necessary from the people's side.